Talking with the experts.
In episode 365, Tai Goodwin explains to us how we can use quizzes and funnels to generate leads for business marketing.
So once you've kind of identified who your audience is and what you're selling, then you go to that place I was mentioning where, you figure out what's the question that you're going to get them to answer. So now you've got your big question, then you create your underlying questions to help them identify like which outcome is right for them. And then once you have that, then you're actually going to create the emails that go along with it. And that's all creating the content. Once you have the content for your quiz, then you can actually put it into a system. So you're going to choose a quiz platform like Try, Interact, or Outgrow. Those are our top two that we really love using with our clients. And then you're going to have a quiz landing page. And then you're going to have the email automation. And so you're setting all of those things up on the back end. And then the last piece of this is that you've got to drive traffic to it.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts. This is where we discuss great ideas to take your business to the next level. How do we know these ideas work? Well, it's because we're talking with business owners who are using these ideas. Business owners who have years of experience and expertise. All things business by business owners for business owners. And now, here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. My next guest, Tai Goodwin, is going to be discussing with us how to use quizzes and funnels to generate leads for business marketing. Now, Tai is the CEO of That Market Team and the creator of the Liberated CEO Accelerator and Quiz and Grow Rich. She's an award-winning instructional designer with a 20 plus years experience. Wow, that's a long time, creating learning experiences and content for Fortune 500 companies like Barnes & Noble and tech startups like liberated as well. That's a pretty impressive resume, Tai. Thank you for being here today.
I am so excited, Rose. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Now, how did you get into using quizzes and funnels? It's not something that is done often and not talked about.
Well, you know what? I learned how to build quizzes back when I was in corporate America. I was an instructional designer, trainer, all that kind of good stuff. And when I left my last day job, I realized that I needed an email list to actually start building my business again. And I had a really old email list of about 2,500 names that I had not talked to in about 2.5 years, because while I was in my last day job, I couldn't have a part-time business. So I just, kept the list. And I sent them a link to a quiz. And within 2 weeks, I had 500 people back on my email list. And I know there are lots of people who have been trying to build email lists for years and have never gotten to 500. So I knew I was on to something. So fast forward, maybe about 6 months later, when I wanted more clients, I said, I just need to get more eyes on this quiz. And so I used a Facebook ad. And so I used one Facebook ad in that same quiz. And I ended up adding 9,000 people to my email list in about 4 months.
Wow. And so how do you write a quiz? How do you formulate a quiz?
Well, there's a lot of people that try to make a quiz the same thing as a survey, and they're completely different. Surveys are things that, people tell you stuff about themselves they already know. Like, oh, you know how many kids I have? I know how many husbands I have, all that kind of stuff, right? But when you when you do a quiz, you're actually giving them insight that they didn't have before. So you can't build it the same way. So we start with like a really good, engaging question. Like we built a quiz for one of our clients who was an OBGYN, and the quiz was called, Where Did My O Go? And I know the ladies know what kind of O we're talking about, right? But it was about women and their libido. And she was asking them questions to help them figure out if, their libido was an issue because of stress. Was it medication related? Was it their diet? Right. But it was a fun way to get answers to those questions so she could help her clients. We had another client that sold like hair care products. And so the question that her audience wanted to know was, what's the fastest way to grow your natural hair? Right. So when you start with that kind of question, it makes it easy for you to attract people because they're looking for answers. And it's not like you're just going to give them a little, a traditional PDF download like everybody has. Oh, let's give them an ebook. It's a fun way to give them answers to the questions that they need. And so you start with that big question, or what we call a hook, and then you create questions to help them identify which answer to that question is going to make sense for them.
Yeah, it sounds really great. Yeah, then that's what a quiz should be. It's like uh, getting information, but not in the same way as a survey, because you're right, surveys are to glean information. Basically, a quiz is you give information at the very end, but it's an innovative way to build your funnel. But how can you use a quiz to actually build your funnel?
Well, at the very top of the sales funnel, it's not just having a page and driving people to it. Like, that's part of it. But if you understand how marketing works, you know that there are different stages, right? So you have people that are just kind of being aware that there's a problem. Then you have people that they know there's a problem and they're actively looking for a solution. And then the next stage is where they know their solutions, but now they're looking for the best solution. And so you can use quizzes at each one of those stages. So for example, if you're trying to help people become aware that there's a problem, you use a quiz like that. Where did my O go? Right? I don't know what's happening. Then, once you get people there, let's say you already have people that know that there's a problem. You want something that's going to help them be educated, right? So, well, what's the number one way to get your libido back, right? To use a quiz at that way, right? And then once you actually have a quiz, it's not just about getting them to answer the questions. It's about what you do with the results and the follow-up after. And that's what makes what we do a lot different. People just create quizzes and they say, okay, great, I got your email address, see you later. But there's actually a nurturing sequence that you do after to guide people from I'm interested enough to take your quiz to I'm in, as in I'm going to invest in working with you because I see the value of what you do.
Interesting. Yeah, because sales funnels, a lot of people they know what they are, they don't know how to use them and to get to the point where potential client will actually buy something from you. So a quiz is a really great way to do it. Maybe you could go through the steps about how to create a quiz.
Well, yeah. So like I was saying in the beginning, you get that for let me start from the very, very beginning. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make with quizzes is they haven't done their homework on who their audience is. So they create a quiz that's super generic. Right. There was one person that I knew, she created a quiz around, like which goddess is right for you, or which goddess should you do something. And she was selling skincare. I'm like, I'm not taking a quiz about goddesses to know what my skincare stuff is. It was very weird. But you have to know who your audience is and what you're selling in order to create the right quiz. And, a quiz is just a lead magnet, just like anything else now. It is one of the better performing lead magnets. And what I mean by that, like a traditional PDF download, the average conversion rate is about 15%. We've seen our quizzes convert anywhere from 30 to 60%. So it's a pretty big deal, right? But so that means you got to know who your audience is so that you get the right people to take your quiz. So once you've kind of identified who your audience is and what you're selling, then you go to that place I was mentioning where, you figure out what's the question that you're going to get them to answer. So now you've got your big question, then you create your underlying questions to help them identify like which outcome is right for them. And then once you have that, then you're actually going to create the emails that go along with it. And that's all creating the content. Once you have the content for your quiz, then you can actually put it into a system. So you're going to choose a quiz platform like Try, Interact, or Outgrow. Those are our top two that we really love using with our clients. And then you're going to have a quiz landing page. And then you're going to have the email automation. And so you're setting all of those things up on the back end. And then the last piece of this is that you've got to drive traffic to it. You don't just want to create a lead magnet and leave it there. And so many people do that. And then, they'll post something on Facebook or Instagram and say, well, nobody came and saw my, my opt-in offer, my lead magnet. you only did it once. You have to drive consistent traffic to it in order to get consistent results. So
Yeah.
when you put all those together, now you've got a quiz funnel and what we call a repeatable system, so you can create predictable income every single month in your business.
Very good. Okay. So where can they find these quiz apps that that you mentioned before?
Well, this is becoming a new trend, or I would say a new solution. So now I started doing webinars back in 1999, Rose. And I know because we were all worried about Y2K, right? It was
Oh,
like, oh my gosh,
yes. I
Y2K, remember
remember that.
that?
Yeah.
And we were doing webinars back then. I was working for a national sales company. And so just think about that. That's 20 something years ago. And people are
Mm.
still today learning how to do webinars. And I think quizzes are the new webinar. So one of the things you'll notice is that every other month, somebody is coming up with a new quiz platform. So if you put quiz makers or quizzes for marketing, if you do a Google search, you will find a number of those apps that are out there. But the two that I recommend to people the most are, like I said, try Interact, because it has a very, very clean interface, and Outgrow. And one of the reasons I like Outgrow is because of how it integrates with email platforms. But Outgrow also has calculators. Now, calculators are another type of quiz, right? And so, for example, if you are a Facebook ads person and you wanted to give people a quiz slash calculator that says, how much should I spend on Facebook ads, you could build something like a calculator in order to make that work. And so Outgrow has a couple of those other features that let you do that. So those are my
Oh,
top two recommendations.
wonderful. Thank you for that. Thank you. I guess, some of the questions, because, a lot of people aren't into a lot of content marketing. So, how would you frame your questions so that the quiz is engaging and, people actually want to participate in it?
Well, we teach a lot about that because there's a little bit of an art and a science to it, right? Um, what I have seen people do is they will get a quiz platform and they'll use the cookie cutter template questions, but you really have to make sure the questions are tied into what your outcomes are. Right. So, I mean, that's the best way to do it. And of course, you actually have a couple of different types of questions in your quiz, right? You have questions that will help identify who your audience is. You'll have questions that help verify that they actually have a problem. You'll have questions that help qualify them. So, for example, a lot of our clients, when we say, well, who's the person you want to work with, they'll say, we want to work with people who are making six figures. So that means you want to have a question in your quiz that helps identify what kind of income people are actually making, so that you're qualifying them. And that's another thing that we love about quizzes. If you just get a regular PDF, all you're going to get is a name and an email address.
Mm.
But if we give you a quiz and we've got the right questions in there, we're going to get so much information that allows us to qualify you and verify what your problem is, so that when we write emails to you, we can personalize them and they can speak specifically to the problem or the pain point that you have.
Oh, interesting. That is really interesting. Thank you for sharing that. I'm not good at asking the questions. I've tried to build a quiz a couple of times and I get stuck on all the questions. So putting framework in place is easy to understand, and it will help me do that in the future, because I need to find a quiz platform, and you've suggested a couple of that I can use to pad out my quiz. So thank you. Really
Yeah.
great stuff. And your marketing, the marketing team, or that marketing team, your business,
Mhm.
what can it help your clients with, or potential clients?
Well, we specialize in helping our clients create automated lead generation systems. When you take a look at the marketing statistics, it will say that 68% of marketers struggle to generate leads for their business. And so we want to solve that problem and we want to automate it. And we do that with quiz funnels. We do that with showing them, how to create Facebook ads or managing their Facebook ads, and then using content marketing to drive traffic, to nurture that traffic, and to help convert their leads into paying clients. So we do everything from like the marketing strategy to creating your quiz funnel from start to finish, or we'll show you how to do it. And then we will also help with email marketing, right? All those things that help you bring in leads and convert them into paying clients.
pretty comprehensive business model there that you've got. And what is the Liberated CEO Accelerator and the Quiz and Grow Rich? What are they?
Yeah, well, Liberated CEO is actually our podcast, right? So we've got a podcast and we talk to 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs about, how you can create more freedom in your business by using marketing automation, right? So you don't have to do everything manually. And then our Quiz and Grow Rich, that's our core offering. It's the method that we use to help people build quizzes, or that we use to build quizzes for our clients. And so we've got a boot camp, we've got a course that we offer, and it literally walks you through those steps of building your quiz funnel so you can generate more leads and make more sales.
Oh, excellent. I love the podcast, Liberated CEO Accelerator. That's lovely. I'll have to go and check that one out. Tai, where can people find you if they wanted to work with you, or just find out a bit more about what you do?
My favorite way to tell people to find me is if they go to thatmarketingteam.com/quiz. And if you go there, we've got a quiz on quizzes. Like, we've got a quiz that will help you figure out the right quiz for your business. And so thatmarketingteam.com/quiz, and you can take it. And it's so cool because you answer the questions, it'll give you a result, but it will also give you a free report that shows you exactly what that type of quiz will look like, why it's a good fit for your business, and what the next steps are if you want to work with us and get some support with your quiz. And if they just want to connect with me, I am Tai Goodwin all over the place. So on Instagram, even on TikTok, on Facebook, LinkedIn, if they just look for Tai, Tai Goodwin, Goodwin, they will find me.
Perfect. I'm into your, I'm actually on your LinkedIn profile. Tai, it's been, sorry, I kept calling you Tai, so you should have corrected me, but Tai, thank you so much for joining me today. I was actually, before the interview, I was going to call you Tai, and I thought, no, it's a girl. I better talk to Tai.
I have an aunt who's known me my entire life, and she calls me Tia every time she sees me, so it's okay. I know you meant me. I'm the only one here.
That's it, exactly. So have you got any words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience today?
One of the things I always say to folks that are, not sure about marketing and, or hesitant about marketing is that it is our obligation to really make sure that clients who need us can find us. And the great thing about marketing and sales is that it's a skill that you can actually learn. So people come into this and they're great at what they do. I have a lot of amazing clients. They are brilliant coaches and consultants. They love what they do, but they struggle with marketing. And the good thing is that you can learn how to market and you can learn how to sell, so that even if you don't want to do it yourself, you can delegate it. Because one of the things that I've learned, I should say, is that it's really hard to delegate what you don't understand. And so when you don't understand how marketing works, you can't really delegate it and get it done right. But if you learn it and know what to expect and know what's required to be done, you can then delegate it and, make it, work with you not having to do all the work yourself.
Yeah, marketing's not my thing. And yes, I'm needing someone to take that over, because I'm not, it's just not my thing. It's not my cup of tea. And yeah, I'm always on the lookout for someone to take over my marketing.
Well, we should definitely talk. But that's exactly why I decided to do what I do, because, and one of our taglines is no tech, no time, no team, no problem, right? Because we'll take that off of our clients' plates so that they can focus on the things that they love to do and the things that they do well.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't good at marketing. It's just not their cup of tea. So yeah. I'll have a conversation with you sometime in the future. Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I really enjoyed our conversation. I hope to talk to you again soon.
Same. Thank you so much, Rose.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.